Hello everybody and welcome back to another day of Inktober on 20 of the year 2022. If you're new, my name is Blute084 Art and Games, and we're going to do another prompt for another day, as today is day 26, if you believe. We're nearly at the end of October, or should we say the challenge of Inktober. And yeah, we've got another word for today, and today's word is ego. And again, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do a arty farty piece or a bit of fan art, as I call fart. But it was like I had this image in my head of, I don't know if you've seen the picture, but there's this woman that stands there, she's doing this, and she's like basically drawing this piece of shit on of a flower and nothing else on a canvas, and then you've got this other artist that is standing there that's got so the one with the flower has got thousands and thousands of likes, and the one that's done this fabulous piece of art and put hours and love and just attention into that picture, and it's so good, and then she's posted it on the social medias, and she's only got the one or the two likes. And yeah, like an ego boost. An ego boost is one like for an artist that really enjoys just doing the art, and then you've got the person that basically shows their body more than they show their artwork. And my artwork's so great because I've got boobs, you know what I mean? That kind of like, I've got such an ego. Yeah, I didn't. I had that in my head, and then I went to search for some what they're called. References, and then I thought to myself, wait, I haven't done a planet. I've never drawn a planet, and when you know what planet has a name of ego, and that's Ego from the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm not going to be doing the female thing, because I was thinking, can I really draw women? Can I draw that much in a sketch in the time that I give myself, which is about an hour to 2 hours I give myself to do these live streams. And I wanted to put some detail into it, and it's like, I'm not too great at drawing people, so to keep it nice and simple for me, because I am not doing it into traditional style. If I was doing it traditionally with sketch and then inking and taking my time and just putting it all onto the piece of paper, where I can erase and things and do stuff like that, because there is no erasing in this challenge for me. I might press the back button, but I do not erase anything. The back button is just basically if I've gone and made a huge mistake with a line across something by mistake, and I thought, oh no, just get rid of that. But yeah, again, you probably know by now that I'm not going to be doing the traditional style with paper and a pen of sorts, an ink pen. I am going to be using only ink tools, but I am going to be doing it all in digital. Because this year was me to challenge myself to do a freehand sketch with a digital pad. I've got this digital pad here, and there's the UGE tablet, and obviously that comes with a pen. So I will be using a pen, and I will be using a digital medium this time instead of doing everything traditional style. But yeah, that's me telling you what we're going to be doing today. Again, the word is ego, and it is day 26. So without further ado, let's go into the application, or the program that I'll be using, and that is called Krita. Krita, however you want to pronounce it. It's Krita, and again, this is a completely free program that you can get for yourself. And it will work on any PC of any sort, and you can use it for pretty much anything you can think of. It'll work with any kind of tablet. If you've got a tablet and you've bought yourself a tablet and you're looking for a program to use, get Krita, because it is basically Photoshop. It's the poor man's version of it. It's not anything like Paint. It's miles away from Paint, Microsoft Paint, I should say. And yeah, it's done me a good job so far. It does everything that I want it to do. That's from adding effects to adding the decent colors, adding textures. It's got it all there. But I won't be doing any of that today. I will only be using my ink tools. So let's grab my ink tools up. Grab them. There we go. Got my ink tools. I will be using the ink brush pen for general sketching, and then I will be doing I'll be using the ink fountain pen for the finer lines if I need them, and then if I'm going to be using shade and shadow, maybe a darker line, I'll be using the ink brush tool. So that's the 3 brushes that I use. Again, I won't be using the eraser, and the pen does come with an eraser built in, but I won't be using that today. I will be only, like I said, occasionally I'll press the back tool. I'm kind of breaking my rules, but you know, rules are there meant to be broken, aren't they? But yeah, this is the program that I'm using. Again, it's called Critter. Completely free if you want to get it for yourself. And Critter's it's freaking out a little bit. Why are you freaking out? Are you gonna behave today? You're not, are you? There we go. I was just pressing the wrong thing. Yeah, so I added a couple layers like I normally do. One will be, this is so I can come back to it later, because a lot of these I want to colour them in. So I want to colour them in and add a bit of texturing on certain things, but I'm not doing it in these ones because, again, I can't. The rules are that I can't use texturing or anything. I just can use shade and shadow and see what I can do with shade and shadow, because this is another thing for me. I have a little bit issue with shading and shadowing, what brushes to use. A lot of time I use the airbrush tool and it doesn't quite affect what I want it to do. So doing it this way is actually showing me how to shade things without mucking up and before I put the colour on, because normally I put the colour on and then I'll shade it. So maybe in the future I'll only shade things first and then colour them afterwards. It all depends on the way I feel, really. But yeah, a lot of these I'll be coming back and adding some more detail to them, because I do really like some of these drawings that I've done in this Inktober. But yeah, that's enough from me. I got to do a lot of artwork today, because like I said, I'm going to be doing Ego, the living planet from Guardians of the Galaxy, well, from Marvel. Yeah, I've got some information about Ego you'll be listening to. It's Comics Explained. They are really good if you want to just sort of get up to date with the latest comic, or if you're going to be going before you go and watch a film, you can watch this guy here, and he'll explain to you who the character is if you're not very familiar with who it is. But I listen to him all the time, especially in the evening, maybe just like before bed, just to sort of wind me down. They're really good. I listen to them quite often, but they're not. There are pictures, and there is another thing called Comic Story, and they're kind of a brother companies on YouTube, and yeah, they're brilliant. I can't say any more highly of all them, but he will be explaining Beyond Omega Level, and that's a series. Ego, the Living Planet, Comics Explained. So if you want to find them for yourself, let me know. I'll try and post a link in there today. But otherwise, we're going to listen to him. I'm going to stop waffling, and you're hopefully going to enjoy today's illustration. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up, and make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and once again, we're discussing the most powerful characters in comics in our Beyond Omega Level series. And today, we're going to be taking a look at a character who's not only one of the most powerful characters, but also one of the strangest, in Ego, the Living Planet. Now, if you've watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which I'm assuming almost all of you have, you're somewhat familiar with this character. And I say somewhat because the version of the character that's portrayed by Kurt Russell is vastly different than the comic book character he was based on. So the comic book version of Ego was created created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and first appeared in Thor number 132 in 1966. Now, in telling the story behind the creation of Ego, Jack Kirby, who at the time was really interested in the universe as a concept, said he wanted to do a different spin on the classic science fiction trope of a living planet by creating a planet that was relatable and explaining to readers why it was alive. And so he envisioned a virus that was totally isolated for millions of years and began to evolve to the point that when it was reached by humans, it would have developed sentient thought and would think of itself to be far superior to humans. Hence the name Ego. Now, Ego, along with Galactus and the Kree, was one of the earliest characters introduced as part of Marvel's cosmic mythos. And so looking at his first appearance, the description of Ego that we get pretty much matches Kirby's inspiration. What we end up seeing is Thor aiding a race of galactic colonizers known as the Rigellians, who had been repeatedly attacked by Ego. Now, Thor goes with the Rigellians to the center of the Black Galaxy, which is described as existing not within the physical universe, but in a fluid bioverse, and at the center of the Black Galaxy lies Ego. And right away, Ego puts a demonstration of what he is capable of. After declaring that his powers are endless, he changes his surface to include a face so that he can converse with Thor, and then terraforms himself to reassemble Asgard, knowing that Thor will find those surroundings more familiar. Now, in doing this, he demonstrates the ability to manipulate matter on a molecular level. Ego is also able to create a humanoid life form based on Thor's molecular structure out of Ego's own antibodies, and states that his plan is to create billions of them to aid him in his newfound quest to conquer the universe. However, by the end of his first encounter with Thor, he's defeated and vows never to leave his Black Galaxy or try to conquer the cosmos again. But of course, that doesn't last long because nothing ever does in comic books. And so for decades, we didn't really know much about Ego's origin, but all that changed in 2010 during the Astonishing Thor miniseries by Rob Rhodey, when it's revealed that Ego was actually created by the cosmic entity known as the Stranger, who's basically a universal scientist. Now, in order to create a living planet, the Stranger needed materials belonging to the Collector, and in exchange for allowing him to use those materials, the Stranger agreed to create a second living planet for the Collector to keep in his museum. Now, the Stranger agreed and created both Ego, who would live his life with autonomy, and Alter Ego, who would be kept in isolation within a pocket universe in the Collector's museum. Now, the Stranger also reveals that when he created Ego, he gave him his own personality and force of will, hence why he decided to name him Ego. Furthermore, after the Stranger informs Ego of the existence of his twin, he imbues him with the ability to travel through hyperspace, thereby increasing his power level even further. But even with that new information, Ego's full origin had not been revealed, and we learned even more about him during Al Ewing's recent Ultimates 2 run. And so what we learn here is that the Stranger's experiment had created Ego, and Alter Ego had actually used two planets that orbited the same star, and that on one of those planets, there lived a scientist named Egros. Now, when the Stranger caused the sun to explode, all the inhabitants of Egros' planet, including himself, died, and his consciousness became the consciousness of Ego. And this is all revealed during a conversation with Galactus, who at this point is not the devourer of worlds, but the Lifebringer. And so if Ego's origin sounds familiar, it's probably because it's similar to Galactus' origin, who was formerly the scientist known as Galen. Now, the two of them even find a form of kinship over their similarity, and Galactus eventually gives Ego a physical body, transforming him into a new version of himself known as Ego Prime. And so now that we've finally gotten Ego's origin explained, we can finally move on to what his powers are. Kind of a fun fact though, there was one point in Marvel Comics when Galactus ended up strapping a rocket to the ass end of Ego and sent him flying through the universe. It was hilarious. And so having said that, I've already discussed a few of Ego's powers in telling his origin story. For instance, we discussed his ability to manipulate matter and to also terraform his own surface into whatever manner he chooses. He can also create whatever weather he desires, create shields to protect himself from damage, and reach out into space with large tentacles capable of destroying spacecraft that venture too close to him. And not really a power, but more of an aspect of his physiology, Ego can absorb beings and digest them. But we also discussed that he can create a seemingly unlimited number of humanoid antibodies that defend Ego from any intruders, much like the antibodies that we have in our bloodstreams to protect us from viruses. Ego is also able to control these antibodies telepathically, and he's able to possess immense psionic powers. Ego's telepathic powers are also so potent that he was able to read Thanos' mind and attempt to drive him insane by mentally recreating every being that Thanos had ever killed. Now, Ego is also able to channel his psionic ability to energy blasts that are capable of destroying not only starships, but entire planets. When Ego's energy reserves are drained, he's able to replenish them by siphoning energy from other living things, planets or stars. He's also able to manipulate his own atmosphere, including his gravitational pull, and so he's able to command one of the fundamental forces of nature, as well as his magnetic and radiation fields. And so the potential is definitely there for Ego to destroy multiple planets if he chose to, which means that we can safely categorize Ego as beyond Omega level. In fact, Ego would probably have killed his brother Alter Ego had Thor not intervened, but his attack before that point had greatly reduced the size of Alter Ego to the point that Alter Ego was reduced from a planet to a moon and began orbiting Ego. Galactus had even tried on more than one occasion to devour Ego and satiate his hunger, and had been unsuccessful each time. And so that suggests that there's not a hugely significant power difference between the two, just to give you an example of how powerful Ego is. So yeah, Ego the living planet. I thought it'd be pretty fun to look at one of the weirder aspects of the Marvel landscape and kind of give you guys an idea of how powerful he is. But let me know what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy it? Do you guys think it was fun? Do you guys think Ego sucks? If you are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.
Okay, now you've had the heads up on who Ego is. I am going to stick some music on because I thought that'd be a lot longer than that actually lasted. I'm still in the real ugly sketch stage, so I'm going to keep at it because I've got a hell of a lot way to go yet. I might even put that moon in, like you said. I'm good. Yeah, I've got loads to do yet. That face is bugging me, but I have plans for that. It's gonna have a lot of shade and shadow on this one. I'm not gonna put too much detail around on the planet. But now you know who Ego is, the living planet. I'm gonna quickly find some music by White Bat Audio because they are my favourite. They're my favourite music to listen to on YouTube, and it's completely free, copyright free. So let's go ahead and find something for them. What should we have? We'll have this. I think we'll just start from here and we'll go.
What if I told you that you can use motion
Does work sometimes feel like you're playing in hard mode? Streamline your operations with Asana. Team up with easy collaboration, track down hidden files, make status updates.
Alright guys, I have now gotten to the point where I'm happy with the illustration. Now all that needs now is the shading. So I'm going to put all of that in now. Hopefully you can see the little moon that was mentioned at the beginning of the stream today. I put that in because I thought it'd be fun to have a little sad little moon. Showing another thing of Ego, where you've got the big Ego face, who's like, Ego. And you've got the little unhappy, the other side of Ego, if you like. But yeah, I've got everything in. I've given the sun a couple of solar flares. It's one of those things that I'm going to, obviously, when I do come back to do this one again, I'll add a lot more... I like a lot more colour to this one. I can see lots of different colours that I need to put in. If there's only thing I can do now is put the shading in. So I'm going to be doing the shading now. Hopefully you are enjoying the music, and if you are liking the video or the stream, if you're watching live so far, then don't forget to leave a thumbs up and show me some support and boost my ego a little bit if you like. But yeah, let's get on with some more from the illustration and try and get this one finished. Okay guys, we are done for today and got another illustration done for Inktober 2022, and again it was a freehand sketch done with a little bit of extra little flair today. I thought I would use the eraser tool just because if I was doing a complete background I would get myself some like white paint or something like that and flick it over to make stars because it was looking really bare. So I thought as it was needed some stars, I thought a few dots here and there. Use obviously the ink brush to with different saturations or opacity to do that shading up there. And yeah, but I've got I think I'm starting to really like the freehanding aspect of this, and hopefully you have enjoyed today's illustration. Once again, it's day 26 and the word was ego, and this is a fan art or a fart picture of Ego, the living planet from Marvel. You found out a little bit more about him at the beginning, and if you're now tuning in, don't forget you can watch the whole thing again from the start and see how I got to here if you so wish to, because the video, this will be obviously a video afterwards. And yeah, if you're watching live, thank you very much for watching. Hit subscribe if you're new and ding the bell if you would like to get notifications of when I'll be doing a next live stream tomorrow. And I will be live streaming for the rest of this month as I have already been doing so. But otherwise guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. That's Blue 084 Art and Games.